Go back to that breaking news we're following. Two persons of interest in the death of a 12-year-old girl found strangled to death in a creek in North Houston have been detained.
Yeah, this all evolving within the past 30 minutes. Our Rochelle Turner at the scene. Rochelle, bring us up to speed. What can you tell us what's happening out there right now?
Brittany, good morning. For the past 30 minutes, Houston police have been going in and out of a building. This is the Canfield Lakes Apartments here in North Houston. Now, this is all connected to that 12-year-old girl. Her name is Jocelyn. She was found dead in a creek earlier this week. I want you guys to take a look at this exclusive video of those two men who are considered persons of interest and seen in surveillance photos shortly after she was killed. KPRC2 photojournalist Roger Franco and I were the only ones present at these apartments in North Houston when both men were placed in handcuffs and put in the back of police cars. Now, that little girl was found earlier this week on West Rankin Road. Police believe she snuck out of her apartment sometime after 10 o'clock Sunday night. Her mom didn't realize it until the next morning when she tracked her phone to the creek. Someone called 911 after driving by and spotting her around 6 o'clock that morning. First responders and HPD recovered her body from the scene. HPD said that she died of strangulation, and this is something that we've been seeing Mayor John Whitmire speak about at city council meetings. He said it's terrible and we shouldn't have to worry about a 12-year-old girl being murdered. Now, we know that Jocelyn was a student at Spring ISD. The school released a statement earlier this week offering their condolences. And of course, we've been hearing from her mother all week. We heard from her yesterday for the first time. She was heartbroken and said it's going to be tough having to lay her 12-year-old daughter to rest. It's just unimaginable news for any parent. Now, as for what's next in the case, those two men will be taken to HPD headquarters where they will be questioned. Now, we are being told that a press conference could happen later this afternoon. And of course, we'll be able to learn more information about this case. And as soon as we learn information,
they did actually have that press conference later in the afternoon. They did arrest those two guys. They said in the press conference that the media played a big part in getting their photos and, asking for tips to come in, which helped them solve the case. You saw the footage there of them being arrested. Let me go back to that. There's one. And where's his friend with no shirt? There you go. There's two. I don't even know what to say except for thank God they were able to track these guys down as quickly as they did. What was it, like 48 hours? And they were able to get it done. Very, very good job by everyone involved. And it still doesn't change the fact that a 12-year-old girl is dead. They are currently doing a sexual assault kit on her remains right now. I think they're waiting for the results of that. Although some media have already gone out and said that it is a sexually motivated crime and that, the R word is being thrown around quite a lot, even though they reckon that test has not come back yet. They're saying that, some people are already reporting that as a fact. I can't verify. Police in the press conference said they haven't even done the result yet. But I mean, I think it's a somewhat, it's not a far leap to take. It really isn't. It's what other reason would there be for this murder? There really isn't. So I get why they're jumping to that conclusion. They also held the press conference earlier today. We're not going to play all of it. We're going to play just a couple of minutes, just the headlines of it. About 25 minutes. About 15 minutes of it is them just sitting there going, due to an active investigation, we'd like to keep that information under wraps for now. You'll learn more about it when we get to court. It's just 15 minutes of them answering no questions. So I will play the first couple of minutes and then we'll get into it.
make sure that everybody's got their cell phones on silent, please, before we get started.
We good, Victor?
Everybody good?
Everybody good?
Mic checks and everything, we're all good, right?
All right. Good afternoon. On Monday, the mayor and I and our homicide stood in front of you and asked for and delivered some really tragic news of a little girl who was tragically murdered. And we asked for your help. Her name was Jocelyn Nungaray, and she was 12 years old. We started to work, and we've been working around the clock since that time, trying to find out what happened to her and who was responsible and to get them off the street. I want to thank our homicide team, our North Belt crime suppression teams, our gang division, our SWAT team, and Metro PD, who all came together as we looked for this, for the guys that did this, the suspects in this horrible murder. And we were all out there. In fact, the mayor was with me on Tuesday night late as we were going through and looking to see if we could find anything else. And the teams were out there and they were scouring every potential video feed and they were talking to everybody possible that might have seen something or heard something. And their hard work paid off because we were able to find video and trace the movements of our suspects and of Jocelyn, and all the way to the point of where she was murdered and left in a bayou in the water. So that's the hard work that they did. We asked for the public's help, and the public came through too. People stepped up, people called, and we are still asking for more help from the public, for anybody that might have seen something or might know something, however small, to reach out to us. And I'll have homicide give you the numbers. Lieutenant Hope will give you the numbers on who to call for that. You can even call anonymously, but we really need all the help from all the public and to make sure that we have the very best solid case so these individuals do not get released back into the field, back into the public where they could hurt other people. So that is my ask of you. About an hour ago, I talked to Miss Nungaray, Jocelyn's mother, Alexis. She's been very brave, but she is still devastated. Her little girl's gone. And now they're trying to figure out how to take care of her and to arrange funeral arrangements and try to heal for something you really can't heal from. And we understand that because many of us have kids and cannot imagine the pain that they're going through. So I ask you to still pray for them immensely. They're going through a really trying time. And as Houstonians and this public, I know that we have fantastic people here. Keep praying for the Nungaray family. I want to turn it over to the mayor to make a few comments. And then followed by that, we'll have Lieutenant Hope to give you more details on the investigation and how it's played out thus far, things that we can share. But please understand there are still things we cannot share for the purposes of the investigation. I know you all understand that. And then we're going to deliver this in Spanish with Commander Garcia, who will offer comments in Spanish, and then we'll take questions from there. So with that.
I really don't want to push you through 25 minutes of this, so I'm not going to. It's just to give you the headlines. If you want to watch the rest of that, I will give you the link. I'm not going to make you do that. I'm sure a lot of people have already watched this today. Let me grab that link here. If you want to watch it on your own after, you can watch the press conference here. Actually, that isn't the link. What is going on? All right. It's from CBS Austin, so you guys can. Let's see if it'll post my link or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If not, you can find it at go away. Ah, you silly thing. It's acting a bit weird tonight. Yes, the two arrests in Jocelyn, 12-year-old Jocelyn's murder. We spoke about it yesterday. Rachel says it doesn't really say much because they can't say much. No, basically says they arrested the two guys. They thank the media. They are still waiting on forensics for a few different things, and more information will be released through the HPD Twitter account when they have it. When they have that information, they will release it. I don't think I'll have a quick look if they released anything in the last hour. I don't think so, though. Let me just have a quick look at their Twitter. No, like the last thing they did was about 6 hours ago, and that was the press conference that you just watched. It was called Persons of Interest Sought in Homicide at 400 West Rankin. So that was actually, I can give you the Twitter broadcast if you want to watch it. Oh, ages of the guys. Hold on. Let me finish this and then I'll. There you go. There's the Twitter link for it. Ages of the guys here. Did they give us ages? Yeah, I'm sure they did. Hold on. It must be on the CBS link. Hold on. Yeah, so one is 21 years old, the other is 26. I was close. I thought one was like late teens or something, and I thought the other one was mid 20s to 30s. Pretty close. Yeah, one was 21, one is 26 years old. They were detained Thursday morning. Also, I have this interesting photo. Where is it? Where is it? I want to show it to you if I can. Someone yesterday posted it online of their actual when they were actually picked up. It was floating around. I don't know what you want to call it, but people were calling it hood Twitter last night. That's not what I would describe it as, but okay. Where is it? If I find it later, I'll show it to you. But it was basically them handcuffed on the gutter. They were on the gutter next to a cop car, being, kept at a distance. It was pretty interesting. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about them being related to each other. They have different last names. One is Martinez, one is I don't I know they pronounced it in the press conference, but I'm not going to pronounce it because I will sound stupid. But this is the other guy's last name here. Penemeros, but I think that's the P is got a different sound to it, different letter sound than the P. I just can't remember which one. Flyer B, hey, how are you? Good to see you. So I don't know how they tracked them down so quickly, but they said that they had been trolling through CCTV. I had a feeling they had more video as a keep back that they had for this screenshot. This one and the one when you see them coming through the doors of that 7-Eleven. I had a feeling that that must have been a rolling video, and for some reason they didn't want to release it all, or I don't know. But they just released the screen grabs from it, and they said they had been trolling other CCTV. They also had some help from tips being called in from the public, and they said they appreciated the media's input. So there you go. See, Danny teaches me how to say names I don't know. I don't even know if I can do that. No, I'm not even going to try. Thanks, Danny. People can pronounce it at home if they want to. Yeah, great news. Happy that these guys are off the street. There are some interesting details about, I think a lot of people guessed this already yesterday in the late show. They said here the department has reached out to Homeland Security investigations to determine whether the suspects are in the US illegally. Some people had guessed that yesterday, and if that is the case, it is freaking sad that this has happened again. I think this is what the 1, 2, 3. What do we have? Like 3 or 4 in the last 3 months that have been like major investigations that have been linked back to people who are in the country illegally, including a couple of really high profile investigations that, they were able to track back down to someone who snuck into the country. I thought I had more information on that background. Hold on. They said here the medical examiner reported that Jocelyn died as a result of strangulation. Both men have been charged with capital murder, and they'll have the aggravating factor, like DJ said in an email to me earlier, because she's underage. They'll have that as a aggravating factor. It says here. Yes, that's what I wanted to tell you. So they said all 3 were believed to have resided from the same apartment complex, and they sort of came across her. It wasn't. I don't think she meant to actually meet up with them. I think they sort of crossed paths, and then I don't know. They sort of kept going. It says here, officials believe all 3 were believed to be residing in the same apartment complex. How's that? How's that for the mum? The mum lost her daughter, right? Finds out news that her daughter's body at 7 a.m. in the morning is deceased in this park or river or whatever it is, waterway. She comes back to her apartment where she's supposed to feel safe, grieving the loss of her daughter. And then they find out that the 2 guys who had killed her 12-year-old daughter are from the same apartment complex. I don't even know if she'd ever feel safe there again. I really don't. I don't know if she would ever want to go back there again. It's horrible. 2 aggravators, yes, 2 aggravators. Ah, okay, thanks, Flyby. It says here they're from the same apartment complex. Am I reading an old article? Here. Lieutenant Stephen or Stephen Hope said investigators learned that the suspects had dinner together the night of the murder, which was Sunday. After their meal, they left the restaurant and began walking in the area. Security video shows the suspects approach Jocelyn, said Hope. He said they all later walked to the convenience store, which we see that on the screenshots, then to a bridge before she was killed. That is a fast, progression, right? They just sort of had dinner, they went to a convenience store, they went for a walk. Oh, and yeah, they just killed her. Odd. Authorities said an investigation by Harris County Institute of Forensic Science ruled that her death was a strangulation. They said the child's family is devastated, added her mother still hasn't seen her child's body due to the investigation. They said if you put yourself in their place, they don't know which way to turn. They have very limited resources, but they're strong, they're brave, according to the mayor. And then, they reached out to Homeland Security. Let me go back to my Click to Houston one because I think that's got better information. Sorry, this all happened overnight when I was asleep. I went to bed at 2 a.m. and it still hadn't sort of been done yet. And then I woke, I know, they had been arrested, but they hadn't done the press conference yet. Then I woke up in the morning and there was 1,000,001 articles to go through. Here, actually, there was an update. I must have missed this. Sorry about that. Who's this? National correspondent for Fox News. Okay. Says here, per sources, 26-year-old Franklin crossed illegally into El Paso in May, was caught by Border Patrol, and then released into the US with a notice to appear/NTA. The other one, 21-year-old Martinez, crossed illegally into El Paso, Texas as well in March and was caught by Border Patrol, was released into the US on an unknown basis. Apparently they've reached out to ICE for a formal statement. They told me they're looking into it. Okay, we have a 12-year-old dead, possibly sexually assaulted or whatever, and you're just like, yeah, we're going to look into it. It would be nice to have more answers. but I guess these things take time. Ah, damn it. Guys, hold on a second. Ah, F. 1 second. Damn it.
That, Mayor?
The first thing I want to emphasize is the condolences. The family, as the chief said, is devastated. I've spoken with an uncle. If you just put yourself in their place, they don't know which way to turn. They have very limited resources, but they're strong, they're brave. The mother just wants to see her baby. Hasn't been able to examine the body due to the investigation, but she's making arrangements as we talk. Number two, and I just touched on it briefly, but I want to expound on it. The police work. I want Houstonians to know, be proud and excited about your police department. The men and women go to work, they have families, but they are so passionate about their work, so professional. And it does aggravate me when some sources say, we've got to restore our confidence in the police. No, the confidence is there. I've witnessed it. I'm sharing it with Houstonians. All the resources necessary, collaboration, the scene of the crime. And we're seeing the result of this hard, old-fashioned police work using social media, new technologies, but also just footwork and collaboration, language skills. You couldn't be more proud of the police department, and we're seeing living evidence of it as I stand before you. And number three, I want to reach out to the court system, the justice system. We're going to be watching you. The arrest has taken place. The charges have been filed. Now we want the justice system to do its job. If there was ever a circumstance where you do not give someone bail, this is it.
Sorry, everyone. I had an emergency. I had something go really terribly wrong, and I was like, crap, I have to call someone like right now. I had to get on the phone and sort that out. I am really sorry. I hate when that happens. I saw something pop up on my email, and I was like, That's not that's not good. It was like the worst case scenario. All good, everything's fixed. It's fine. We got it done. Yeah, something crashed that shouldn't have, and yeah, very, very awful. But it's all good. There we go. I didn't want to bore you guys while I was on the phone, and I could see everyone was just sitting there doing nothing. And I was like, I'll just keep playing the video for you. Yeah, I thought it was really good. What was that other case? We saw one yesterday where it was something similar, where it was the community that had really put in a lot of effort. Same with this one, and that was very impressive of the PD to, thank the community, thank the media, being a big part in helping get this out so quickly. Get a lot of the tips in. They said their tip line was flooded with people that either wanted to help or had information or thought they knew who it was. It was very impressive. But yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Juicy Jules. Juicy Jules says my neighbor's dementia is progressing fast. He is outside in an adult diaper. Ay, ay, ay. I watched when I got off here last night, I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and I'm always trying to see like what things should I not do to kill my own channel. And I was like, okay, let's watch what did a bunch of these YouTubers do to kill their channels. And I was just sitting there going, I don't think I'm ever going to do half these things. There was one guy who wore diapers and talked about pooping in his own diaper and stuff. And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to go down that road. And there was just a bunch of other people doing crazy stuff. And I was like, no, we just talk about news cases. I think we're okay. Yeah, no drama. We don't do that here. So it's okay. I don't want any drama. I was watching one last night. What was it? It was a girl from Florida or something. She shot and killed an alligator and a boar on live stream. And I was like, really? I was like, wow, I'm surprised they allowed that. Didn't think killing. And then there was others like, what makes me sad? People who abuse animals or hurt animals. Hunting, no, I get hunting, right? Hunting is the thing people do. They do it to provide food for the table or something like that. That I'm cool with. But in certain countries, there was people who they glue barnacles and coral to turtles, and then they have these videos of, oh, I rescued this turtle, and it was in the ocean, and it had all these barnacles and coral on it, and I sat there and I took all the barnacles and coral off the poor turtle, and I learned that apparently it's fake. They actually glue it on, and by prying it off, a lot of the times these animals have soft shells on the outside, and it actually damages the animal. And I was like, I can't believe people do this for YouTube views. Cannot believe it. People watching it and they're like, "Oh my god, thank you for saving the turtle." It's like, no, I think thank you for torturing that turtle. Marylander says, "Mum died 12 years ago. Long battle with dementia." It's it's an awful disease, and it takes people like in the worst ways, makes them so they're not even the same person, almost like they're a ghost living in the body, like the same body, but they're not really there, or they might be there sometimes, but not other times. It's a really hard thing to deal with, really, really hard. All right, let's keep going. I know a lot of people want to have an update about Gregory Lynn. Do you want to know how many updates I have? I have 0 updates. I have none. 0. Right now, as far as I know, they're going to wind up today they've only been in there about an hour and a half. If I don't see an announcement in the next 20 minutes, I highly doubt we're going to get anything until Monday. So not trophy hunting, but hunting for food. Like if you go hunting and you like kill a deer or whatever in deer season, but you take it home and that's like your food source. Like in Alaska, people hunt to survive, that type of thing, but not hunting to kill the animal and just leave it there. I don't really agree with that, but I don't mind people hunting for the bag or, you know, there's animals out there, there's too many of them, and they cull them and eat them or whatever. I just think as long as you're not cruel and it's not just for being stupid to waste, waste animals for no reason, I think that's fine. I mean, there's places where hunting, they do it every day because they have to. Like in Alaska, some places up north, they do it. In Australia, they do it in the top end in the west. That I'm okay with. For hunting for food, I mean, I think when you're trophy hunting, that's wrong. But I think if it's for survival, I don't see a real issue. Like, what else are they gonna do? They don't have a Kmart down the street or whatever. I think there are some people that still live in really remote places that either don't have access to everyday supplies or things like that, and they have to supplement their food somehow, either from fishing or hunting or whatever. So, I mean, I don't hunt. I don't, but I get it. Rachel says we hunt and fish for food. It sure helps the grocery bill. Yeah, I think for that kind of reason, I get it. I mean, I try and be as logical as I can with things. But, wasting animals for no reason, I don't really get it. All right. Let's move off that topic. Let's go back to true crime. I have a story out of Australia, and the reason I want to talk to you about it is because when I read it last night, I could imagine every moment of what was going on. And even as a male, I was scared to death. I was like, holy crap, this is the worst thing I've ever heard of unfortunately, it's a sexual assault case. And I hate to bring them to you all the time, but it seems to be what we get a lot of. I will show it to you. I will keep it as PG as I can, and I will use code words where I have to. But it's not super graphic. It's just creepy as hell. And I'm going to show you why. Hold on. All right. So I read through this last night and I did a bit of research on it. It says woman who was allegedly essayed by 3 men at a box party in Newcastle gives evidence. Now, I'm going to explain the situation to you. There was a box party. There was a bunch of guys who hired an apartment. They hired an apartment. It wasn't too far from this club/pub down the road. And on night 1, they went to the club/pub, drinking establishment. Went there, they found a group of girls, young girls, about 18, 19. They interacted with them. They asked them to come back to back to the apartment. Everything up until that point was consensual. They get back to the apartment. 2 of the girls, there's 2 girls, I think they're called A and B in the trial. There's no names. They are going to go have consensual sexual relations with 2 of the guys. They are fully in on it. They even say it's fine. Even in their evidence, they're like, yes, we were there for that. It's what happens after that that turns this into something really, really awful. Now, I'm going to read this headline here. It says, one of the alleged victims told the court that she remembers a swarm of people grabbing her and forcing her onto the bed. And one of the most creepy parts of this down here is, where is it? We're going to try find the quote for you. It basically, when these girls were in this situation, it was a dark room. They had just finished having that consensual relations with 2 men. They had left for a moment, and then they realized that their phones and bags were still in the room. They went back there to grab them, and when they went back, the room was dark. And when they went in there, they started being molested and pushed onto the bed. They had their clothes taken off and they were sexually violated by 3 different guys, allegedly. During that time, one of the girls yelled out, where is Matt? And that was the guy that she'd actually had consensual relationships with. Everyone in the room, the other men, all yelled out, "Oh, that's me. I'm him. I'm him. I'm him." I can't imagine being in a dark room as anyone and having someone try and play mind games with me like that while I'm in a sexual assault situation like that. That must be the most cruelest thing you can imagine. I can't even. It makes me so angry because it's just cruel. It is. It's cruel. You're already doing this thing to the girls that is, 1, illegal, 2, disgusting. But then to mess with their head at the same time while, yes, they are drunk and they'd had consumed some drugs, but that shouldn't really mean anything. And then to try and mess with their mind and say, "Oh, I'm Matt, I'm Matt, I'm Matt," while you're sexually assaulting them. I just. So she says here, the woman wiped away tears as she recalled returning to the bathroom where she alleged the assault took place with her friend, the bedroom where she alleged the assault took place with her friend after going to the bathroom. When I walked in, the lights were off and I just felt a swarm of people around me. And at first I thought the man she had had a consensual relations with was in there, so I didn't immediately react. I just felt like a hand on my arm. My shirt was untied and my skirt was pulled up. I was forced onto the bed. The woman told the jury she was then, you know, had multiple sex acts pushed on her without her consent by at least 3 men in multiple ways as she tried to resist. The complainant said she was unable to identify the group of men who assaulted her in the bedroom because it was too dark. But Crown prosecutor Craig Evans previously alleged the 3 men on trial were participants of a joint criminal enterprise in the alleged SA. The woman said during the assault, she called out multiple times for the man she had had a consensual relation with earlier, to which the group of men in the room all responded, claiming to be the man she was asking for. The woman said the assault only stopped when the man she had called out for eventually entered the room and said something to the friends in a foreign language. She said after the 3 men left, her and her friend walked out of the bedroom before leaving the apartment. There was 3 naked males between the bedroom door and the front door. I was trying not to make eye contact. I just wanted to get out of there. One of the other details before they left that bedroom, while that girl was so scared calling for that guy, she was asking for her other friend that she was just with when she entered the bedroom to get their phones to leave. And then all of a sudden she hears this quiet voice not far from her say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm next to you. And they were both on the same bed at the same time being sexually assaulted. I mean, uh, I can't, it really upsets me. I hate these type of stories. I bring them to you to show you what happens in the world. But it makes me mad that there's people out there that think this is a fun Saturday night. And I get we're all young once. We all did stupid stuff. Probably me too. Even when I was younger, I mean, I've always tried to be respectful of women, but we're all dumb when we're young. But this is way further across that. Even the line was all the way back there somewhere, like way back there. This is far past it. It really, really, it's just horrible to hear this kind of testimony. The more disturbing thing I'm going to tell you is, so this took place one night. These 2 girls were, what I just read to you. That wasn't the end of it. There was a 3rd girl the next night. This one's even worse. Not worse in the psychological way, it's worse because it's more forced. The girl the next night was actually on the street outside their apartment, and one of the males, who I can't name, I don't think I can name, he went down onto the street and tried to convince this girl to come back to the apartment for pre-drinks before going out on the town. He he wouldn't leave her alone. She eventually gave in to the pressure and followed him back to the apartment, leading her up the stairs. He then dragged her into a bedroom. When she was dragged into the bedroom, she's like, "Wait, I thought we were having drinks." And he said to her, "Oh, yes, we will, but after this." And then when she got in there, she noticed that there was another naked male hiding on the other side of the bed where she could barely see him. She was then assaulted in the same way as the first two girls the night before. After it happened, she fled the apartment and she called police. She's the one who activated the investigation into this apartment, and it was her report that ended up allowing police to trace it back to Miss A and B from the first night, because they actually didn't report anything until they were contacted from police, because they said they had been drinking, they had been taking drugs, and they just didn't want to report anything because they felt like it was their fault for being intoxicated, and they just didn't want to deal with it. Basically, they just wanted it to go away. And it was lucky, well, not lucky, but Mrs. C, the girl on the second night, was the one who actually was able to start the police investigation. The police came, made the apartment a crime scene, and started investigating. And here we are today in court for it. So really horrible. Brenda Cress, hey, how are you? All is okay. All is okay. Potter says not their fault, but they knew they would be blamed. Yeah. I think one of the girls said she'd had a bunch of drinks and some MDMA. I think a couple of other things as well. And yeah, they thought they were going to get blamed for being drunk and then agreeing to go back and have sex with the first two guys. But just because you agree to go back and have sex with two men, I mean the two girls with two men, doesn't mean you agree to have sex with everyone in that house. And yeah, they really allegedly pushed far past that line. Yeah, I haven't seen any cross-examination of them yet. I don't think, but it's early days in that trial. But I wanted to outline the case to you because it's really one of the most shocking. It reminds me so much of the SCAF case from the early 2000s in Sydney. Just some of the actions, the way women were treated, that type of thing. It's not a direct comparison, but a little bit. What do you mean sad about Bruce Willis? Did he die? I hope not. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. So yeah, this trial they did question defense questions alleged victims' actions under cross-examination from Maurice Howell's barrister Richard Pontello. The complainant was questioned about her actions before she went into the apartment. The court heard the woman had consumed multiple alcoholic drinks and had taken 2 MDMA pills before agreeing to go to the apartment. The woman said she was starting to slur my words, but I still felt in control. Mr. Pontello then suggested to the woman that she agreed to go back to the apartment with all the men and later consented to have a foursome with the 3 men, which he later denied, which she denied. He says, you were never forced to be on the bed, were you, at any time? He suggested. Disagree, the complainant responded. At no time did you try and stop anyone. I did try and stop them. The court heard the woman did not report the alleged assault, but later gave 3 statements to police when they called her weeks later, which occurred due to a report from a different woman the next night. That's Miss C, the third girl. Miss Pontello told jurors after the women were called by detectives, she texted her friend, who was also allegedly assaulted that night, saying, I thought it was funny and all that, until now realizing how dangerous and serious it is. The woman did not deny sending those text messages, but said she did not remember the incident being funny. Mr. Pontello accused the woman of calling the man she had consensual sex with while she was in an Uber on the way home from the pub. He said the complainant asked to go back to the man's apartment where she was allegedly assaulted, to which the man said, "Yes, if you want to." The woman said she could not remember calling the man but denied wanting to go back to that apartment. And they just says the trial continues before Judge Gina O'Rourke. So this happened in February 2022, and it says here, a woman has told a jury how she felt a swarm of people grab her as she entered a dark bedroom before she was allegedly assaulted by a group of men who were on a bucks party in Newcastle. I'm going to avoid fully naming these guys because I think I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name them. All three men are facing a trial in the New South Wales District Court after pleading not guilty to multiple counts of aggravated sexual assault in company, aggravated sexual touching, and attempting to commit aggravated SA in company. Prosecutors allege the two 18-year-old women were attacked on a Friday night, and a 19-year-old was attacked the following night. A female complainant who cannot be named for legal reasons was called to give evidence yesterday. She told the jury she had met the men at the Cambridge Hotel in Newcastle in New South Wales, who invited her to a nearby apartment after he had bought her a drink and the two had kissed. She said, "I was just on the dance floor with friends, dancing, singing, having a good time." The woman said she agreed to go to the apartment with him and two of his friends as long as her friend could come with her. The complainant said she later had consensual relations with that man in a bedroom before a different man walked into the room completely naked, touched her inappropriately, and asked if he could join in, to which the woman responded no. Yeah. The reason for this is, according to some information that I read yesterday, in the other bedroom, her friend, not the one that said no just then, but her other friend that she went to the apartment with, she had sex with a guy, and then that another guy came in and he asked if he could have sex with her. I think from my account, she said yes. And those two had more sexual relations. Then he left that bedroom and went into the other one and asked her if he could have sex with her, and she said no. And then the events that I read to you a little bit ago happened after they thought everything was done for the night. So they did not take no for an answer. That was already one sign that at least one of them had already put up a fence or a barrier saying, "Hey, I came here to have sex with one guy. That's it. I'm not that type of person. I'm happy with what happened here, but that's it." And they push the boundaries. Men, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would say probably not. Actually, Miss C, I think they did because she called police straight away. A and B, I don't think so because they were contacted weeks later. Potter says, "Ping, did you see that guy that was raiding girls from guys that were raiding girls?" What? The only one I know of is in Victoria, and it was a school here. The guys had made a list of girls at the school, and they had used some very derogatory language, um, like, like wife, hot, ugly or something, and then one of them was like not hourable. That's the one I know of. Pretty horrible that young boys would use that word, but being a young man myself, I've seen what young guys talk about, and it's not surprising. I don't mean to sound crass, but I'm not even that shocked. Boys are pretty gross at that age, and there's literally only one thing on their mind, and they don't care who they offend. They really don't. It happened yesterday. The only what? Where's your next message? Let me have a look. I don't know that one. The only one I know is schoolboys who did it. I can show you. Hold on. Is it this one? Yeah, May 10th. It's this one. This is the only one I know of. I think this is the right one. They said it was, disrespectful and, you know, horrible to the girls who were being raided, but actually, yes, it is this one. They said 30 girls were photographed and ranked on a tier list from top to bottom, top to bottom, using highly offensive and inappropriate language to describe the female students. The tiers included wifeys, cuties, mid, object, get out, and this word here. You guys can see that on the screen. That word there highlighted. I can't say it. What followed was an outpouring of criticism, with Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen labeling the list as disgraceful. I get it. That is not the wording you should ever use to describe females or men if you're either gay or a female. I think that is pretty horrible. The first bit I don't really have too much of a problem with, up to about here. Even this one I'm not even that upset about, but that is it's not a funny topic. It's not a topic that you're like, "Ha ha ha, oh, you wouldn't I wouldn't R-word her." Like, no one speaks like that unless you are literally a person in jail who has done this to a woman. There is no yeah, it's not a funny topic. But, the issue, I had with this was, unfortunately, it's I don't believe it's, restricted to boys. I think girls also make these type of lists. I think it's pretty natural to be at school and rank who the hot boys are, who the hot girls are, which one do you have a crush on, which one do you wanna go out with, who's gonna go here, and blah, blah, blah. I don't have a problem with them making lists of who they find hot. I think that's been going on since the dark ages. Like, I don't think that's a new phenomenon. I think it's the description of the girls. I don't think that is cool. Those 2 boys that were related to this list, they both got expelled, from the school because of it. So they are no longer at that particular school, which was Yarra Valley Grammar in Melbourne. But the other one that you're talking about, I have no idea about. Oh, Gold Coast. Gold Coast. You did? You sent me an email, my friend? Let me have a look. Teenager charged over social media post ranking female students at Gold Coast High School. Okay. It sounds it sounds like it's a copycat of the one from Melbourne, because it's got that same word right there. I think this might be a copycat incident. Last month or no, yeah. Police began investigating last month after an Instagram post, which has since been deleted, ranked some students at a Gold Coast high school into categories such as abduction material, one night stand, average, and again that R word. It is vile. The Education Department described the post as vile, and officers from the Gold Coast District Child Protection and Investigation Unit launched an investigation. Well, of course they did. They're from the investigation unit. That's what they do. They launch investigations. On Wednesday, Queensland police said a 17-year-old boy had been charged with 3 counts of using a carriage service to menace, harass, or cause offence. Senior Constable Greg Orbit said the case highlighted the serious consequences of using online platforms to intimidate or harass. He said the charges served as a reminder of the importance of responsible digital and social media behavior. Hey, at least they're trying to take it head on and show that, hey, you do this type of stuff. It's not fun and games when you start describing people as a crime, and they're going to charge people over it. I think it's good. Even if it happened to boys, if there was a bunch of girls who were saying, I'd kidnap him and I'd, XYZ, I think they should be held responsible as well. So good. It wasn't it, yeah. I wonder if there's something going on social media where someone is making these lists to draw kids in, like school kids, to the actual like platform. So they're like, oh, hey, my school was mentioned. Let's go look at the girls from our school. Something like that. It wouldn't surprise me. They're trying to do this online. Emily Narb says yes, like the burn book in Mean Girls. Yeah, I don't see any problem with making lists of boys and girls you find cute or whatever. But there's a respectful way of doing it, and then there's calling them abductable or whatever. Like, I don't think you should be abducting any girls or boys. I think that's a crime. I don't think it's a funny way of describing it. Yeah. So there you go. There's a photo sort of it. Why is there only one girl that's at the top of the list? Oh, it's an artist impression. Okay. But yeah, you can see, just like in other parts of the world, we seem to have a problem with boundaries. Oh, like I said, I think there's a respectful way of doing it. I don't think calling anyone ugly is nice, and it can stay with people for. There was a guy I read. He wrote a social media post after the first story came out, and he said how in the 1970s, girls at his school would write these type of little lists of like all the boys in the grade or whatever, who's hot and who's ugly and all this. And he said he found one of the notes after school on the ground. One of the girls had dropped it, and he read it, and he said his name was on the list under ugliest boys in school. And he said it stuck with him for the rest of his life, that he always felt that he wasn't worthy of female attention. So that's what I mean. I mean, just write the ones that you think are cute. That's fine. I mean, guys and boys do that all day long. Yeah, ranking. That's the word. I don't know if we can do that. I don't even know if their names were ever released, but they're probably they're probably not the hottest boys in school. Yeah, I don't think we're allowed. One, I don't think we're allowed to show you. Two, I don't think their names are even in the media because they're still considered juveniles. So if I tried to show you, I'd probably be arrested. It's been a controversy-filled night tonight, apparently. We've talked about all the subjects we shouldn't talk about. We've talked about animal hunting. We've talked about making lists of opposite sexes. We've talked about awful sexual assaults. Ping, you got to get better at choosing your stories. It's not me. These are the stories that are out there. Or you got to make some stories up, Ping. All right, I will. I'll make some crime stories up for you. Let's see what else we've got. What about a serial killer? Do you want a serial killer? I want a serial killer. Let's talk about that.
News just now, a murder suspect on the run for several days in Arkansas is now in custody. Arkansas State Police and Sequoia County Sheriff's Office says that the Alabama man was taken into custody in Morrilton this morning. We're talking about Stacy Lee Drake. The 50-year-old man is a suspect in a double murder in Gans at a propane business. He's also a suspect in a murder in El Reno, Oklahoma. We're working to learn more information about how he was taken into custody. We'll have that for you soon.
Are we back? That was weird. I clicked the button to come back and it just gave me a black screen and I was like, are we live? Are we not? It says here, law enforcement on Thursday confirmed a 50-year-old man tied to multiple murders in Oklahoma and another in Alabama was captured in Arkansas. Stacy Lee Drake was wanted in connection with the deaths of 3 people in Oklahoma and a 4th in Alabama. On Thursday, he was captured after a multi-day manhunt in Morrilton, Arkansas. So I can give you that town for people asking. That's how you spell it. They say below is what we know about the homicides and the capture, the Oklahoma murders. Around 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, is it Sequoia County deputies responded to a report that 2 people were dead near La Ferry's propane near State Highway 64 and South 4760 Road in Gans. When deputies arrived, they found a man and a woman dead. They had injuries consistent with homicide. The OSBI joined the case and identified a person of interest as Stacy Lee Drake. Sequoia, I don't know how they pronounce it. County Sheriff Larry Lane told Coco 5 that Drake abandoned a truck that was found on Saturday, and then on Tuesday, Drake allegedly carried out killings at La Ferry's propane. Court documents say Drake could be seen on camera walking to the propane store between 2:49 p.m. and 3:05 p.m. During that time, no one else entered or exited the business. Drake then left the building and drove away in one of the victim's vehicles. According to court documents, that car was later found at a Motel 5 in Morrilton, and Drake could be seen on surveillance video wearing the same clothes he did at the propane company. Following Drake's capture, El Reno police said he was suspected in a June 14th murder at a home along Macomb Avenue. During the investigation, police discovered that Emmonson's vehicle was missing and presumed the suspect took it. Police identified Drake as a person of interest in the murder, and they suspected that he had left the El Reno area shortly after the murder. So they're saying the Oklahoma victims are 2 employees killed at the propane business as Tara Underwood and Taylor Sharp. Underwood had 3 children and was engaged to a man who also had 3 children. Underwood's sister told the news station she wants everyone to remember her as funny, bubbly, and awesome girl that everyone knew. El Reno police identified the victim as 56-year-old Philip Emerson. And in the Alabama murder, authorities also told 40/29 that Drake is suspected in the May 14th murder of a 62-year-old man at an Alcoholics Anonymous building in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The victim was identified as Russell Thomas Andrews. And then they said the capture, Stacy Lee Drake, was apprehended without incident in Morrilton, Arkansas, Thursday morning, almost 2 days after the Gans double murder. On Wednesday morning, Arkansas police and OSBI investigators said Drake was believed to be in Morrilton after a vehicle he was linked in was found at the motel. Later in the day on Wednesday, Arkansas police said they still thought he was in Morrilton and that he was known to have bought camping gear. He was found in a wooded area south of the Morrilton intersection of University Boulevard and Paw Farm Road. So where is Morrilton in Arkansas? It's about 50 miles northwest of Little Rock and is located in Conway County. According to the 2020 U.S. Census, The population of the town is around 7,000 people. I did not hear about this one until today. Let's see what we can find about Stacey Lee Drake. Quadruple murder suspect caught in Arkansas after nearly 2-day manhunt. Okay. Let's see if we can find a photo of this guy. Here we go. No, that's a terrible video. That's a horrible one. Let's find a better one for you. All right, let's go to 5 News.
Where you live. 5 News starts with breaking news.
Breaking news at noon, the manhunt is over. Police have taken a suspect accused of multiple murders, including a double homicide in Sequoyah County, into custody. For over 24 hours, the man you saw right there and right behind me, Stacey Lee Drake, has been at the center of a multi-state manhunt, and now he's in police custody. This all started Tuesday night. Deputies in Sequoyah County were called out to LaFerry's Propane on Highway 64 between Sallisaw and Gans. Sequoyah County investigators and agents with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation say they found 2 employees, a man and a woman, dead inside of the business. We're told Drake stole a vehicle from the scene that was later found 125 miles away in the parking lot of a motel in Morrilton. State police sent us an update yesterday evening saying that they thought Drake had purchased camping gear and was still in the Morrilton area. And that's exactly where authorities arrested him about 2 hours ago. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi is live in Morrilton right now, where that scene is still active. Jacob?
Tiffany, that's right. I'm at the corner of University and Poor Farm Roads here in Morrilton, where Arkansas State Police say that Stacey Drake was arrested this morning. Now, I'm going to take a couple steps off frame so that you can see that this scene is still very much active. Police have about a quarter mile of the street blocked off, still processing this scene where they made today's arrest. We are also just down the street from the Motel 6, where Drake was last seen on Tuesday evening, and where police say that's where he abandoned the vehicle he stole outside Sallisaw. Now, this photo from the Arkansas State Police shows Drake being taken into custody this morning. He is accused of killing 2 people at a Sequoyah County business on Tuesday night and then stealing that vehicle. We have also learned that he is linked to a murder case in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and authorities say he could be linked to another in Oklahoma. Arkansas State Police, along with Morrilton Police and the Conway County Sheriff's Office, took Drake into custody around 10 this morning. They say he was taken into custody without incident.
I have a breaking story out of Australia, actually. It just came through my triggers. I got triggers set up for breaking news, especially crime related. 2 people reported dead in the Ottaway Ranges after apparently it was a shooting. Hold on, I'm just trying to find that for you. Ottaway Ranges. It's a pretty remote area. That's interesting. I don't have any update other than to tell you that there was a shooting. Yeah, I don't have anything except that they're reporting that 2 people have been killed out there. Now, I can show you where that is. Yeah, 2 people reported dead after shooting in Ottaway Ranges. Emergency services were called to a property in Victoria's southwest in response to a double fatality. All right, let me see if I can find anything else for you. Past hour. Nope. Interesting. The news is coming through very slow on it. Weird. It must be literally breaking news or it's in a... Alright, I'm not getting anything else, but I can tell you that there is possibly a double homicide. Well, there is 2 people dead. Either a murderess or whatever, but there are 2 people that have been shot in southwest Victoria. So I'll bring you probably more on that in the late show tonight when I can get more information. Hey, Kathy, how are you? I'm glad we pissed everyone off tonight. That's what I aim to do. I aim to come here, upset people, read them upsetting stories, have the opposite opinion of them, not have the opinion they expect of me, that type of thing. That's what we aim for here. All right. Let me see what else I have. I just want to check before we go about this. Yeah, I don't even have an update for you on Greg Lynn. They are still, I mean, they're almost done. They're going to be done in about 50 minutes. They're going to go home for the weekend. So if they were going to call a verdict, I probably would have expected a notice that went out by now. Yeah, there's nothing. We may stretch into week 2 for the Greg Lynn murder trial. Otways? Okay, thanks. Can't say I've ever been there, but thank you for telling me how to pronounce it. Yeah, I don't have any other information on it. Sorry. All I can tell you is that there is some sort of shooting out there. I love when they do that. They give you no information, but they tell you something has happened. All right, let me check one more source for it. Come on. Yeah, I don't have anything. It'll have to wait till the late show. There'll probably be more developing information by then. All right, yeah. So I'm sorry to bring you such distressing content tonight. What's with the Drake guy's face? I don't know. It just paused there. What do you mean? Is there something wrong with him, or you just don't want it on the screen? We can move it. There you go. You can have this lady's face. There you go. I think that's about it. I think that's all we had to update. Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left. Do you guys want to end with a good story tonight instead of something horrific like the Bucks Party weekend story? I'm sorry I had to bring that to you, but I feel like if we just don't talk about it, we're actually helping the perpetrators by helping sweep it under the rug and not tell people allegedly what they've done. You know what I mean? Like, feels like, oh, we're helping them hide it. All right. Let me get you a good story. I have one. Actually, it's sort of breaking news. All right, we'll do this one. It's a good news story. A good news story out of a bad situation. Hero female cop Amy Scott, who shot dead Westfield Bondi Junction killer, is honored for her bravery. A police officer who single-handedly pursued, confronted, and shot dead a man who fatally stabbed 6 people at a Sydney shopping centre will be publicly commended for her bravery. New South Wales Police Inspector Amy Scott hailed the hero for bringing an end to Joel Corchi's stabbing rampage at Bondi Junction, Westfield, will accept an award at Goulburn Police Academy on Friday. Inspector Scott was performing routine checks near the shopping centre when the incident unfolded on Saturday afternoon of April 13th. After bystanders directed her to the scene, the officer approached the 40-year-old Queensland man on level 5 of the complex as shoppers fled and others lay injured. When he refused to put down the knife, Inspector Scott fired one shot to his chest, sending him to the ground. We all remember that photo. Since then, walked over and gave him CPR until paramedics arrived, but he was unable to be revived. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese praised the officer's courage in responding to danger. There is no doubt that she saved lives. It is a reminder that those people who wear uniform are people who rush to danger, not away from it. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns also praised the officer's instinctive bravery as she ran towards danger and without a shadow of a doubt saved many, many lives. Joel's family issued a statement saying Inspector Scott was only doing her job to protect others, and we hope she is coping all right. 6 people were killed in the attack and another dozen people injured. So there you go. She's going to be given an award for her bravery and, skill during that mass stabbing event at Bondi. I think that is a great thing. The fact she took on that guy on her own. Oh, that's very sad. I'm glad they found it. Was she found alive? A lady here in Idaho that was missing was just found safe, a rural area, and she was missing for 3 days. She left to use a restroom at a rest stop. She has dementia. But Popcorn says, I doubt cops in the US would have given CPR. Maybe not. Maybe not. Who is messaging me? Okay. So there you go. There is your good story for today. Someone being commended for helping save lives instead of us talking about people changing other people's lives or taking of lives. Yeah, I would bet they probably wouldn't. Don't they just shoot people and then say, we've called paramedics, and then they wait 45 minutes for the paramedics to get there and the guy's already deceased by then? Oh no, that's not fair. I have seen that in America, but I have also seen officers give CPR to people they have had to shoot. I have seen them give immediate CPR. Not all the time, but I have seen it. Rachel says, we've just taken to hospital. I hope she is okay. Glad it didn't turn out like that one we read about a few months ago. A few months ago, we read about a lady who was on a side-by-side with her husband. She thought she lost her phone, so she hopped off the side-by-side and went walking to look for it. The husband went in a different direction, and then she got lost, and they found her body like 5 days later, not too far away from where she was last seen. So I'm glad that didn't happen to that woman. Moonlight View says no, they usually attend to the perp. Yeah. Do we have time? All right, I can do it quickly. I wanted to see what happened to that lady in I think it's Montana. Hold on. I can't find her name. I don't know if anyone remembers it, but it was in some remote location and she had been going looking for antlers. They call that shed hunting. She was going missing. Yeah, I can't really find anything. Missing Oregon woman? No, that's not her. Yeah, here. She was from Gillette. That's it. What was her name? A 55-year-old Gillette, Wyoming woman remains missing. Yeah, what was her name? Tammy L. Sturgeon. What ended up happening with her? Yeah, coroner. We never did a follow-up on this. I don't know why. Oh, no. They said the Campbell County coroner, Gillette woman, died as a result of hypothermia. Well, it was very cold at the time. Apparently, autopsy results indicate a Gillette woman whose body was found south of Gillette last week died of hypothermia, according to the coroner's office. Tammy L. Sturgeon, 55, reportedly died of hypothermia, adding that a recent autopsy ruled out the likelihood of foul play and indicated she did not suffer any serious medical events before her death. So if the husband on the side on the side by side had found her after she went like missing the day she went looking for her phone, she could have been alive. That is very, very awful. They said Sturgeon was found at the end of a 5-day search that drew personnel from surrounding counties and agencies following her disappearance south of Bishop Road on March 23rd, according to the Campbell County Sheriff's Office. The 55-year-old Gillette woman had been shed hunting in the area with her 60-year-old husband. The two of them became separated when they left their side-by-side to search for Sturgeon's lost phone. That was one of the weird details, is that the phone ended up being inside the side-by-side. So it looked really bizarre that she thought her phone was gone. Very odd. All I can say is, if that ever happened in the future, give her the mobile phone. If you only think you have one mobile phone, give her the one that you actually have. So if anything happened to the person you're letting out of the vehicle, you can actually find them again. You can always find another phone if you have a vehicle, but she doesn't have a vehicle, nor did she have a phone. So you basically put her in a bad situation. Where did your post go? What do you mean? I can see it. Here. You said I'm here for any story. I don't think Moonlight View removed anything. I see, you said you're late. You said, I'm here for any story. And then you said, where did my post go? And then you said, was there something wrong with my post? The only thing that can happen is sometimes if you type something and it goes against YouTube's rules, they have a filter that can take away your post, and it's got nothing to do with Moonlight View. They just have an internal moderator that can actually take away posts above the channel moderator. Even me, I can't give it back to you. It's like way above us. That's a good point. Carry something that makes a loud noise, so if you are lost, people can direct to the noise. That is a good point. I think there was an opportunity to find her alive if they did a couple of things, unfortunately, differently. Okay, let me check up on this Otways or the place where otters live. Let me see if there's any new information. This should be breaking news. Here. Got it. Yay, we can end with it. So the Otway Rangers shooting is Victoria Southwest. 2 people reported dead. 2 are dead after a shooting incident in Victoria Southwest. The man and woman really, who are yet to be formally identified, were found by a passerby on a walking track near the Gellibrand River around 10:45 a.m. today. Circumstances surrounding the death are yet to be determined. Officers have cordoned off an area and a crime scene has been established. At this early stage, police are not searching for anyone in relation to the incident. Where is this river? Okay. Near the Great Ocean Road. Let's see if I can get into the map quickly. All right, where is this river? So it's right next to Old Ocean Road. Not that close to. Depends what part they were found in. It's very countryside here. I'll show you. See, it's very, very sort of rural. There is a highway over here, Great Ocean Road, which is a very big tourist road. People drive it as a sort of, destination thing. But there's a lot of. This is the river right here where they said they were found. Unless they have property here. I will do more research for you while we're on the break and see what I can find out. See, like you have little homesteads that are here that you could, maybe they live at one. Otherwise, what were they doing? They said it was a walking track, though. A walking track. That looks like a walking track there, look. I don't know. I'll have to find out more information because this river goes forever, look. And then it leads out to sea. Starts here, goes up in here through the tidal interchange here, and then up around there, and then it keeps going. And then where does it end up? Down here, down here. See, it keeps going. And then I may have lost it. I don't know. Oh, yeah, it keeps going all the way up here. And then does it end? That's it? Oh no. Sort of ends here. There's no other way for it. Okay. I will keep looking for you after the break, but as you can see, it could be anywhere in this giant region. I'll have to find out a closer detail for you about where it could come from. But there is these sort of walking tracks over here. Look. Look at this. These are walking tracks or roads all through here. We'll see. Hey, Edget, how are you? No, that's all right. We get mistakes happen. Yeah, it's a mystery. It's YouTube magic. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, you got 4 minutes. Go have fun with Trish. Let me just check one thing. I don't have any donations to tell you about tonight, but I do have someone's membership from yesterday. I want to thank Mr. Dan Yee, Mr. Danny Mitchell. Thank you for your donation in form of monthly membership through Ko-Fi. I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I would say I'd add your name to the video, but I think it's already there because you've already supported the channel. So thank you very much, Mr. Dan Yee. And we'll be back in about an hour and a half, 2 hours with more true crime. Hopefully less true crime that is divisive. But I will see you then, okay? Have fun with Trish. Bye-bye.